since the death of Prince Philip. He was 99 years of age. He died at Windsor Castle, and he was the longest-serving royal consort in history.
Well, joining us now to talk about his life and legacy is the editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine and the royal biographer Ingrid Seward. Good morning to you. Lovely to have you on the programme. It still turns me cold remembering that moment that I found out Operation Forth Bridge was coming into play. That was to say that all the plans that the broadcasters and indeed the civil servants and the royal family and all the courtiers had in place was being enacted because Prince Philip had died. And it was the first, major royal death that we had had in an incredibly long time. Do you remember where you were when you heard the news 3 years ago today?
I was actually in the market in Henley-on-Thames buying some apples. So not in a very dramatic place, but I do remember the funeral very, very well. I think we all do, because it was so poignant. And I think it was the Queen followed her government's COVID restrictions. So it was very, very pared down. And also, just to let Eamon know, he was Lord High Admiral, Prince Philip.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Very
it's a
senior.
Wonderful title, isn't it? Lord High Admiral.
And he could have gone all the way with his naval career, but he put that to one side, didn't he?
Well, he had to when the Queen's father became really ill, and he was on service in Malta, and he realised then that his naval days were going to be over, and that he really had to do what he was destined to do, which was support his wife, the Queen, as monarch.
Ingrid, tell me about, we talked about his military career there, so he was used to giving and taking orders there. Did he take orders in the royal household, or did he make the orders?
Well, what happened was Philip started to make the orders because he saw that the household was run in a very inefficient way, and he was an extremely efficient man, and he wanted things to run really smoothly. So he became a little bit unpopular because he started making quite sweeping changes within the royal household to make it more efficient. And it wasn't always popular with the sort of old established members of the staff that were there.
Love story between the pair, though. Certainly the Queen Elizabeth II was madly in love with him. And I suppose what they had in common, apart from sort of both being aristocratic and royal, was a love of the country, a shared love of the country.
I think what they really had in common was this amazing sense of duty. And Philip always said, my duty is to support my wife as monarch. And that's the position he never wavered from. Whatever else he did, he was always supporting his wife, the Queen. And I think that really big sense of duty was what held them both together over the years, apart from the other obvious things like his sense of humour, his loyalty, and his ability just to get on with life and make things happen. He made things happen.
Yeah, he was, I've been saying this morning, in my opinion, he was very much the enforcer. He was the sheriff in town. He made the rules, and people would come to him for advice, and I'm sure he would tell them what to do in no small way. How would you see his role in the general family circle?
Well, in the family circle, he was... in a way, I suppose he was a bit of a house husband, although he would loathe that expression, because the Queen was when her father died suddenly in 1952, she was propelled into a position that she hadn't expected for at least another 10 years. So Philip had to take over the running of the household, the running of the family. He made the decisions. She 100% agreed with him. And then he got on with it.
What do you make of his relationship, or how he viewed Meghan Markle?
I think Prince Philip was very canny about people. And he didn't always see bad in them. He tried to see good in them. But I think he just couldn't get away from the fact of the similarities between Meghan and Harry and Edward and Mrs. Simpson, if you like. There are so many similarities there, which is why he used to call her the Duchess of Windsor. I mean, not to her face, obviously. We used to call her Dow, D-O-W.
Royal biographer Ingrid Seward has just dropped a bombshell, revealing that Prince Philip had a private nickname for Meghan Markle. A nickname so sharp, he never dared say it to her face. But what did he call her? And what does it reveal about how Meghan was really viewed behind closed doors at Buckingham Palace? Tonight, we unpack the truth behind Prince Philip's secret words, and the chilling comparison to Wallis Simpson. According to Ingrid Seward, Prince Philip reportedly referred to Meghan as the Duchess of Windsor, or simply, Dow. It's not just a nickname, it's a statement. Because the original Duchess of Windsor was Wallis Simpson, the American divorcee whose relationship with King Edward VIII triggered one of the biggest scandals in royal history. By calling Meghan Dow, Philip was drawing a direct line between her and Wallis. Two American outsiders. Two strong-willed women. And in the eyes of the old guard, two figures who disrupted the royal order. It wasn't said to hurt her, perhaps, but it was said to warn others. To remind the family that history might just be repeating itself. Prince Philip was known for his blunt honesty, sometimes brutal, sometimes wise. He spoke his mind even when others wouldn't. But the fact that he never said it to her face tells you everything. This wasn't playful banter, it was judgment cloaked in wit. In Seward's words, Philip believed Meghan was a modern-day Wallis Simpson, someone who could lead Harry away from duty and tradition. And looking back now with everything that's happened, the exit from royal life, the Netflix deals, the public clashes, was he wrong to make that comparison? Or was he seeing what others refused to admit? Names carry power, especially in the royal family. Duchess of Windsor isn't just a nickname, it's a ghost from the past. It represents rebellion, scandal, and exile. So for Philip to privately use that name, it suggests he knew exactly what was coming. The tension, the backlash, the breakaway. And yet, behind the sharp humor there's something deeper. A sense of sadness.
What about the relationship that was sometimes fraught, especially in the early years, with our now king? What do you think Prince Philip, given what you know of him and you've written books about him, would make about King Charles's reign so far? And I suppose the challenges that the royal family are now facing. Do you think he would agree with this slimmed-down monarchy, given, you know, their health and apparent frailty at the moment?
I think he would totally agree with the slimmed-down monarchy. And I think he would be very, very proud of his son. He wasn't always proud of his son. I mean, he was a very tough father, and they didn't get along in the early years. Obviously, they did later, but I think he would be really proud of the way that Charles has sort of immediately implemented what he said he was going to do. He said he wanted a slimmed-down monarchy, and that's what he's organised. That's what he's now got. It is a little bit too slim down at the moment, perhaps, but he's coping. He just doesn't want the burden of too many royals upon the British taxpayer.
Philip lived through royal crisis once before. Maybe he saw the same movie playing again, only this time starring his grandson. The comparison between Meghan and Wallis Simpson has been made before, but coming from Philip, it hits differently. He was there when the monarchy nearly fell apart over love. He knew what royal rebellion looked like. So when Ingrid Seward says he privately used that nickname, it wasn't out of malice, it was recognition. A quiet acknowledgement that the monarchy was once again being tested by love, emotion, and independence. In the end, the nickname wasn't about insult, it was about history. Because every generation of royals has its Wallis Simpson, and perhaps its Meghan Markle. Philip's nickname might sound cruel, but it's also deeply symbolic. It captures how the old world viewed Meghan. Not as a villain but as a threat to tradition. A woman too outspoken, too modern, too unwilling to bend to the system. And that's what makes this story powerful. It's not about gossip, it's about generational divide. The clash between a 20th century monarchy and a 21st century woman who refused to play by its rules. Prince Philip's nickname for Meghan Markle isn't just a royal anecdote. It's a window into how deeply divided the palace really was. Whether you see it as a warning or a whisper of disapproval, it shows one thing clearly. Even in private, Meghan was never just one of them. She was a symbol of change and controversy. Do you think Prince Philip's nickname was harmless humor, or a sign of the royal family's resentment toward Meghan? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more royal revelations, untold stories, and fearless commentary, because behind every royal headline, there's always a hidden truth.